tell y'all something like that. Uh, the photo camera look better than the video camera on iPhone. I wonder why. I'm gonna tell y'all in this situation, um, any situation for that matter, read the whole Bible. Because the Old Testament speaks a lot of these tests that's going on. I just didn't know when Jesus was tested by Satan, I didn't know it could be cycles. And I didn't know it could be long until I started comparing the physical justice with the spiritual justice. Then I started realizing, okay, wait a minute. There's something here. These cycles can take forever, y'all. The goal is not to give up while you're going through the cycles. Pray, meditate, read your Bible, get strong, become strong in every aspect of life as possible as you can, as much as possible. um, now I see why it's legal. I was kind of upset with my father about it when God told me it was legal. Now I see why it's legal. If you want to say you love God, then it's only fair you go through some extreme um, some extreme cases to test your might, to test and see if you really love God the way you say you love God. You know, and these tests can be applied to you in any stage of life. Like, I done went through them while I was working. And that was one of the scariest moments outside of, not really scary, but one of the hardest moments outside of this one. Because I was job scared, and I didn't want to do it. And I ain't trying to tell nobody to go do nothing crazy. You'll know if these moments come up. Like I said, you got this Ouroboros, and God come through. It's like you be in tune. You don't even notice it. You be in tune when you go through this Ouroboros. There's moments of times when you in this Ouroboros, you get in tune and don't know it. And I like to use external habits. I like to use habits in general for an example. Like, let's say you always got in your mind sex plans. You ain't really doing them, but they in your mind though. They keep the wheels keep on or keep a turning. Well, it might come a point where you are introduced. It might come a point where you're introduced to that. And if you feel it, you're going to become bonded to that. And before you feel it, it's going to become cycles to you. And what I mean by that is that the opportunity to do that is going to come around. Like repetition going to keep coming around until you feel like, hey, maybe God's telling me to do it. That's real temptation right there. I just didn't know. I just didn't notice it before. I know in this situation, because it's been so long, this is the only thing that make this situation worse than the rest. This was the longest one. The rest of them last about 2 years. This right here been going on for about 5 years. Strong. Um, so, the one at my job was the hardest though. Because there was so many obstacles. Back then, that's when jobs didn't want you. I don't know how jobs are now. They didn't want you to talk about God. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I was job scared and all that. But I knew I needed to stand up straight, and I knew I had to conquer being job scared. I just didn't know how I was gonna conquer being job scared. But anyway, I started standing up straight. I did my job good, better than normal. You know what I'm saying? I did my job to the best of my ability. I always gave 100%. I always came to work. Uh, I missed days, but I didn't never go over my days. Never even thought about it. I always got to work early. Uh, I always listened. I took orders really good, and I just did my best. And so by the time it came to me ready to stand up straight at my job and move up in positions and stuff like that, then I had to. A lot of people can't deal with people, but a lot of reason that it ain't many. Well, I don't know about for everywhere else, but for some places, it's not many black leaders in jobs, and we keep blaming everybody else. But really, we already don't want to work around people, so we definitely don't want to tell people what to do. So I had to overcome that, and I knew that before I signed up for it. And I knew at the jobs I was working at, anybody could get a job there. So I knew uh, I was finna deal with some hard legs, and I just knew I wanted to change. I wanted to build up my reputation like I did on the block in the business world. I wanted to get my respect, and when I started doing that, I looked. I didn't look forward to losing my job. But I definitely knew it was gonna be a lot of changes. But and most importantly, through all that, I didn't want nobody to alter my faith, alter my relationship with God, make me lukewarm. And I knew all that was gonna come. That's what I really wanted. All those temptations. Let's say I was a cop. I wouldn't, let's just say I was a cop, and somebody keep trying to make you do under table stuff, something like that. The reason why I'm using that for an example because it's easier than trying to figure out what I'm talking about in this situation. But now that you get it, you get it. So people come to you at any job and do that, try to get you to do something on the table. So I knew I wanted to defeat that, and I knew no matter the stress I was gonna deal with at the job, I didn't want to bring it home. I didn't want my family to even notice it. So them were my goals. And when I went towards that, just like I thought, I got tested in every way fashionable. And lo and behold, when I got through it, I was no longer job scared. I don't know what it was. It just went away. I was no longer job scared. And I learned how to manage money better. And that's it. I gained a lot. That was the gifts from God that I gained. I learned how to manage money better. I learned how to build my credit. I learned how to actually secure myself. I learned all that the right way. So while I'm working with people, whether they are high ups or not, it felt like I was more secure than the rest of the people there because I managed my money and I managed myself better. My problem was I was still young in the mind and didn't realize certain things. I didn't acknowledge the fact that I went through the trials and tribulations to understand what I gained. And I'm trying to teach it to everybody else. I wasted a lot of energy doing that. I'm trying to teach people how to get the credit right, trying to teach people this. I wasted a lot of energy with that. But so that situation, that's how you gotta look at these. If you're a chosen one, that's why I'm saying that if you're a chosen one or anointed one, you going through some trials and tribulation. And it's really in your mind. You looking to be tempted and you looking at the world like I'm gonna be tempted like the world and I'm gonna succumb to what the world succumb to. It's whatever you got in your mind. It's your secret thoughts in your head. It's whatever you got in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And one of the main things I thought I was gonna lose my job. I said, I know I'm gonna lose my job. I shouldn't have thought like that, but at the time, I was young. But not only did I not lose my job, I moved up rank. When I had altercation with people, I didn't get out of line. I didn't get ratchet. I just expressed myself, and everything moved forward. It was like I needed more money, but I didn't know how to get more money outside of doing something low vibrational for money. But I didn't want to do nothing low vibrational for money, and God knew I needed more money. So it's like I went through this trial and tribulation through my job, and I learned how to deal with everybody. Then I was a gangster, redneck, smart person, didn't matter. Engineering, didn't matter. I learned how to deal with everybody. Now, I became quite good at it. You know, people would call me in on different shifts, almost depend on me. Hey, Tank, can fix that machine. Machine might go down and keep a whole line down. And they might call me and I might be like, call somebody on the line and be like, y'all want to work? Yeah, man, we need the money. We want to work, bro. I call somebody on the side, like the manager might call me. Hey, I heard you can fix such. Maybe. I'll call you back, though. I'm busy at the moment. I'll call you right back, though. And I'll call somebody else on the line and say, y'all want to work? Cause I figure they don't want to work. You know, you can't get somebody coming in and fix that machine. A person like me, I be praying. Oh, they don't find nobody fix this machine so I can go and ride around Gallivant. They find somebody to fix the machine. I mean, and I be, after work, but, so I call somebody on the line, and they'll be like, yeah, we need to work. Man, Christmas finna come up. We need the money, bro. You gonna come on through? I'll be like, yeah, I come on over there then. I go in now. I have my earphones on. I mean, I have my plugs in. I go straight to the machine. Fix it. When I walk in there, manager don't even know I came in there. Fix the machine. And I walk over there, he was like, hey, yeah, you finally got here. The machine fit, bro. I'm going back home, though. They be like, okay, cool. You fixed it like that? You got to show us how you did it first. And I go back home. I fixed the machine. Machine fit. I'm going back home. And it might be, I can even explain it to you. It might be like, they got these 3 different huge machines in there, and the machines, all the machines got sensors on them all over the place. And one machine don't want to cooperate. They can manually open the door, but they need this door to open as soon as whatever come down. Sensor it. I mean, as soon as whatever come down, they need the door to go open. And the sensor, they done mess with the sensor, and they done messed up all the sensors. You know what I'm saying? Messed up all the sensors. So the sensors can't read each other. So I go in there and fix all the sensors. But they'll be like, we done did all that. Door still won't open up. These big machines, I tell them, they be like, how you fix it? You gotta pull the sensor. You gotta pull the plug out the back of the sensor and blow it out, because it probably ain't connecting good. So the sensor just stuck on. It looked like it's on, but it's just stuck. That's it. It be simple stuff. It be simple stuff, bro. And like I used to do stuff to it just to go home. I asked the line, y'all want to go home, bro? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say what I used to do. But we'll get home, bro. I really go home. I didn't do that a lot. I did it when we done overwork, though. When then I had us in there almost 70 hours a week. Yeah, I had to do it then. Because we need a break off, boy. But anyway, so these machines can kill you. If you don't do the lockout tag out, they'll kill you. And that's it. That's what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? And the job loved me. The people loved me. So with that being said, they let me talk about God all over. I wasn't going in there talking about God, you know what I'm saying? But it was more demanding so to the point where if you say something about God, even say God, you're gonna get fired. That's how bad it was. And I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing it, bro. So when they seen how I was, and then they seen how I really wasn't pushing that, forcing nothing on nobody, that I just love God, they left me alone. And when somebody try to go bother me and tell on me about it, fire them. He important. We need him. He keep things going. He important. And that's the benefits of being a good worker, a good husband, a good lover, a good child, good anything. That's the benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? But cause you work overtime just to make sure that pleasure is necessary in the department that is needed. So I don't know why I'm really saying all that. What I do, I'm hoping y'all just get it though. Oh yeah, I'm saying it for that chosen one. So in this case, it's more spiritual. It's like you put in this solitude to work on your own temptations. I'm the kind of person that would go to jail and take stuff off of people that positive stuff away from people that's in jail and apply it to my outside life. When a lot of people go to jail, be positive and get out and be negative. I didn't do that. I think a lot of stuff prisoners do and jail people do are very positive and very a necessity and something we should never forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can be real, you can be hard, you can be this and that, but you can also be disciplined, and you can also have dignity, and you can also have morality. You know what I'm saying? And that's like in my case, I feel tainted with that test. I felt dirty. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't me. I work hard to get right here with God. So when God told me to go read the Bible and started being quiet after that, I knew my answers was in that King James Bible. I knew my answers was there. And it was. It was. It's all throughout the Bible. And I don't know. I don't know why people say you can teach it but you can't live it. I don't know how you can teach it. I don't know how you can teach it and can't live it. It'll be the opposite of me. It'll be I can live it, but it'll be hard for me to teach it. I don't get what they coming from with that because there's nothing wrong with it. You can still have a good time. You can still, whatever. Practicing moderation. If you got issues, perfecting moderation is the key until you can get rid of the issue. It ain't like it's that stressful of a situation, bro. It's like you just ain't got to do something every day. Every day. You got to go outside. You got to, it's just like you got to have something every day just to go outside. You got to have something every day just to get out your bed. You got to have something every day just to go to sleep. You don't need nothing. All you need is God, and that's living. You don't need nothing. You need some good curricular activities. You need positive structure in your life. And you need to get used to it. And you need to be more used to being sound-minded than you are being intoxicated. That's it. And don't worry about people judging you. Because as long as you're working on yourself, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know what you're doing for yourself. They don't know how you building yourself. They can't tell how you building yourself. And I'm going to be real with y'all. You don't want them to know. Just like I seen a celebrity one time and I messaged him. And they was talking about all his investment. I said, You doing great, man. I messaged him. I said, you doing great, outstanding. He's a celebrity. Everybody know. I said, but don't. This is one part of your life you don't want to tell nobody. He took that stuff down, never saw it again. Cause he figured out a way to secure himself. I said, don't. This is one thing you don't want to tell nobody. You want them to think the worst of you. You want them to think the worst of you in this department. Cause I had to learn that the hard way. Tell somebody how good your woman is, and next thing you know, you got the whole world, people flying across the world trying to get her. You know what I'm saying? Flying across the world trying to do magic on your relationship. I had to learn that the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And it don't be the women's fault. I have OGs that I come across and they'll be like, it was your fault. Didn't you say you went around and bragged on your relationship, told everybody how good your woman was? I said, yeah, I thought that ain't what you're supposed to do. You keep that stuff secret to yourself. You keep your relationships to yourself. Everything about your relationship to yourself. Everything about your security to yourself. You lock them in vaults. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. I mean, I hope this helps somebody out there. That's how I roll, bro. I was the same way in the street. I ain't deal with cops. I never deal with cops. I really don't. I don't mind them, though. They cool. A lot of them I went to school with and stuff. They cool to me, but they already know ain't no snitching in my blood. They already know not to come at me like that. I had one cop do that. I had one cop go around and I just did it on purpose to get out of jail. I said, yeah, I got you. Get out of jail. I just tell you something, you get me out of jail. I know about everybody. And so he got me out of jail. He said, yeah, this information you said you got. I said, you know anything about voodoo? He said, voodoo? Man, I don't want to hear that about. I said, they put spells on people out here. They put spells on people out here. Unalive spells. He was hot, bro. His whole face turned red. Cause that's the whole reason they locked me up, because of somebody putting this unalive stuff on me and putting all this stuff. So I basically told him, I'm trying to find out who did this to me. And I know the cops know it. So I basically told him, I tell you some bad stuff going on with some people out here. Bro, he was red. He turned slap red. I ain't never seen that car. I think he got so mad he quit his job. That guy had to get out of jail though, bro. I ain't want to stay out there and went to jail 3 times. I ain't want to stay in jail no more. You can't smoke a cigarette in jail. I ain't saying I don't want to stay in jail and smoke a cigarette. But man, jail is, ooh-wee. You can't exercise in jail or nothing. I seen one dude, I don't know if he was trying to exercise, trying to sneak and exercise. No, he was trying to do something off the bed at the top bunk. And he fell and hit the concrete floor hard. I said, stay down. Stay down, bro. I witnessed it. Stay down. If you want to get out, stay down, bro. I'm finna call the people now. He gonna get up and like he an undercover cop. I mean, I said, I told everybody, I wasn't around and told everybody in jail on. I said, man, this man fell, busted his lower hip bone. He gonna feel it. His head hit the ground, hurt his head hit the ground, just bounced off the concrete. And he gonna get up. He gonna get up. I would have sued the brakes. I'd have stayed up. I'd have left my tongue out my mouth. I'd have been out of here. I ain't only finna get out of jail, I'm finna get paid, bro. But he got up. I really stopped dealing with him out of that. I figured he must have been an undercover cop or something. But anyway, but that's the way it is, bro. So, ain't no, you can't work out of nothing now. I ain't trying to go in nothing either. You can't, that's bad. That's real bad. It's like you trying to take somebody a narcissist. There's so many ways you can make it where the prisoners can work out and still keep their weights and stuff. You can make them where they can't move them. They got a lot of gyms out here now where you can't take them apart. You know what I'm saying? You can create stuff. You got the Bowflex. I don't think you can take it apart once you put it together. Something, you come up with something. And you know, You ain't gotta do the prisoner like that, man. Exercising is very good for you. You know what I'm saying? And in this situation in this jail, you couldn't even go outside to see the sun, bro. I had to look through this tunnel, bro. Cause I'm trying to hear the birds and nature so I can read cause I can like car read off of nature. And they got it where you couldn't see the sun or nothing. Can't see a bird, but I found a hole and I can hear the birds and I can finally get some messages. I said, my God, what is this? I ain't want. I tried my best to get out of jail because they were trying their best to keep me in there. And that woman told me and they had already told me they were trying to keep me in. They were trying to get me to go down the road. So I told that cop, they put me on a trustee, and I told that cop, yeah, I'll tell you some information. And I got out of there. Told her that some information, all right. Outside of that, like I said, they straight. Ain't nothing ever helped me, though. And I ain't never seen nothing really help our neighborhood neither, you know. Outside of break us down, bring us apart, and turn us against each other. I just ain't good with all that. I feel like I'm a different breed, bro. I feel like we can take care of ourselves. I've been around killers and stuff like that all my life. I know how to deal with people, man. I know how to protect my own. That's the way I feel. But ain't nothing wrong when they do their job, they good. You know, if somebody help you, that's good. Somebody love you, that's good. But I always been in a situation where only God was there for me. You know. And I always been the kind of person that was always doing all the help, doing the saving. I ain't never get none of that in return. None of it. I just got a hard time. As if it was a curse and a sin to help somebody. But I hope this helps somebody. I'm really talking to the chosen because I know y'all going through what I'm going through. Because it's like you got to pass these tests to continue to keep that power. There's a power in the chosen one that you really still can't activate even through these tests. But you can tell God going to hand it over to you when you finally pass them all. And that power is incredible. It's incredible. That's why when people come out to me, relationship stuff, this and that, man, miss me with that. Because whoever get in a relationship with me, being a chosen, they going to gain way more from me than I'm going to gain from them. We're going to gain a lot from each other. But this power, you can't buy. This is priceless. This is a gift from God, like an ultimate gift from God. Ain't nobody out here talking about that.